Hello, Cancer. So, this is the month of April 2023, and there is some powerful stuff happening in your sky. And I think you're going to find that Mars is the main player for you this month. We're going to focus on what he's doing for 6 weeks, actually, in the house of you. It's a very important transit, Cancer. It's going to change your identity, it's going to change your focus, it's going to change the way you see your own world and yourself. It could even change your body and make it really physically fit. That's a really great transit that happens only once every 2 years. But also, we're going to be addressing the movement of Jupiter into the heart of the sun, bringing you this luscious love up, this spell of excitement in your career. A very lucky time for you. Something quite yummy is happening during the month of April to really give you a super glow up in your career and reputation space. And there's other things happening. We're going to go through it step by step. If you're new to my channel, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign, guess what? My name is Lori Lothian. I use the traditional whole sign house system. I'm a Hellenistic astrologer using the Western tropical zodiac, not sidereal. I love asteroids. And if you hang out here, you'll learn a lot about them in my longer videos each month. Now, one of the things I want to say is that this is a month for you. Oh, and if you're new to my channel, of course, please check my description box below. Like, subscribe, bell for notification, you know the drill. But in my description box, you'll find a bunch of stuff like my Sky Reader course starting in April, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life, a live course with me. You want to sign up, you want to get into that before the middle of April, you want to check below. You can check out my Patreon community, check below. Lots of favoritism there. No ads, ad-free, $5 a month for all my content you get here and more. And plus my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, weekly forecast gives you discount codes for readings with me and all of that. Everything is in the description box below the video. Click the more button. You find out everything about me. Thank you. All right, I'll start with Mars. I'm making these videos different for each sign. You can listen for your sun, moon, and rising, all right? And I do that because things are different for each person. Not everything is equally weighted for everyone, all righty? And so we're focused on what I think you need to know on a need-to-know basis. And the thing you need to know, Cancer, Mars is the planet of change. In the ancient world, they didn't have Uranus. They only used Mars. And so if there's a change planet moving through your sky and it's moving through Cancer, it's moving through the house of you. You may change your body. You may exercise more. When does this happen? It starts in the month of March, around the 25th, and it lasts until May 20th. So all of April is Mars moving direct through you, through the house of you. So exercise, change of wardrobe, change of attitude, change of direction, change of mind, momentum, drive, focus, ambition, passion in the house of you. However, he is in a sign that he's not normally comfortable in. We call it a sign of his fall because it's the moon sign and it's the temple of the moon. And he doesn't really like being there because it's all emo. It's too emo. It's super emo. And he's not an emo guy, right? He's a warrior. He's a champion. He's a hero, but he's certainly not emotional about it all. So you could end up during this transit being a little bit more like a Mars in water, trying your best not to like tell someone to F off, but you say it in a passive aggressive way, or cold shoulder, bad or silent treatment people in your life. Be careful. You'll be more prone to have a sword in your hand, but you'll do it in a Cancerian way, which can be somewhat, difficult because Mars in water can be slippery and passive aggressive and withholding instead of clear and direct. So when you communicate with people in your life, especially your spouse, because you're looking across at him with a Mars sword in your hand, or her, whichever one it is, be cautious with your communication style, especially with clients as well. Sometimes this looks like, you want to tell your clients to get the frig out of your face and get lost, and you can do that. There's no reason you can't, but do it with a clear and present danger. Do it in a way that doesn't sound like you're being passive aggressive. That's all. It's not too hard to do. With Mars moving through your first house, the other thing I tell you about is that you can be very commanding. And so people may want to follow you. So it's a good time to try to lead. And it's a big, long transit. It's 6 weeks long, but it does start to really kick in April. Mars is the Lord of your 10th house of career. So for some of you, you may be making career changes or making decisions about your career that are really important to you and how you want to actualize that career. I'm going to jump ahead for you to talk about the June 11th conjunction of Jupiter in Aries in your career space. This is called a Cazimi, and it brings luck and happiness and optimism, but also prosperity and goodness. It's just a very lucky day. It's a good day to ask for a raise or promotion, or a good day to do something bold and daring. But you will just feel lucky anyway in that career zone during that time, and luck can befall you. Now, with Jupiter up there at the top of the sky, in that part of your chart, there is a quality of this that is, it's so exciting because you can choose to use it. You can make a plan to do something important in your career space on that day, launch a product, reach out to a boss, do something important, because it'll bake in that goodness for the duration of that project or that thing. It'll just like have a lingering kind of inceptional goodness. It's called an election. Now, the other thing about that is that Jupiter is invisible from the end of March until the beginning of May. And so that career space for you is kind of low key down low, like you're not expanding, you're not having great raises and promotions, you're not looking all like everything's coming up roses. It's not. It's low key. Jupiter's gone dark. He's invisible. So that will be a note to say that this is a special oasis of yay on June 11th in a longer time frame, right? Of a little bit like 5 weeks of mediocre career stuff, steady as she goes maybe, but nothing new. Jupiter invisible in your 10th house of career could be more about, I'll do a whole video on it, about making backroom, plans or planning new strategies or something like that. So we'll do a video on that separately. Mercury and Venus, fast-moving planets, are doing a lot of action in the sky this month. So let's talk about that. Mercury on April 3rd through to June 11th begins a long stay in the Taurus, which is a very happy, exciting place for you. It's called your 11th house of good spirit. It is where you have lucky things happen, your wishes and dreams come true. Fairy godfather lives there. You might also have great financial gain from your career, especially if your career involves messaging, communicating, writing, speaking, or commerce, like directly, like buying and selling, trade, stock markets, stuff like that. Mercury in your 11th house, therefore, will amplify that all the way from June the 3rd to, did I say that right? Yeah, April the 3rd to June 11th. And that's a long story. And he's there for so long because of a retrograde starting on the 21st of April to May the 14th. Now, when he's going direct, therefore, in the first 21 days of April, expect some greater gains from your career. Yes, I know that Jupiter's invisible, but there is a June 11th luck moment. Okay, so remember that. And as he's going through this Taurus house, you may also have a lot of communication coming through from friends. And when he retrogrades April 21st through to May 14th, friends from the past, large social groups of networks and networking friends and belonging groups may come out of the woodwork, and you're going to hear from these people again. Out of the blue, they're back in touch with you. I haven't heard from, my old yoga teacher, yoga person, this person, that person. I haven't heard from my old astrology buddy from back when, because we belong to the Society of Astrologers. So these people are coming out of the woodwork maybe April 21st to May 14th, so the last part of the month. Before that, just a lot of activity, a lot of communication, a lot of socialization with larger groups of friends, and having maybe some fun in your life, right? It's a good time, though, for your career gains as well. Now, Venus is going to be moving into Gemini, and that's the sign that belongs to Mercury, and that is called your 12th house. This is your self-undoing addictions, backroom deals and negotiations, hospitals, insane asylums. You guys are learning all the houses now with me, aren't you? Things to do with barter and trade and revenue generated from foreign shores, and sometimes things to do with learning, especially skills-based or academic. Now, as Venus is going through here, April 11th to May the 7th, right? She's having left Taurus, your 11th house of good spirit, and she will be there with Mercury, just to remind you, right? Venus will be with Mercury in that part of your chart. From Mercury will be there April 3rd, and Venus is still there until April 11th. So let's say April 3rd to April 10th in particular is super lucky financial gain energy and super glow up in your career space, maybe through favors from women in high places as well. But then she moves, all right, then she moves on April 11th into your 12th house. And she'll be in a mutual reception to Mercury in your 11th. That's a hotline to each other. If I'm in your house, I call you and go, should I water the plants or not? And, you'll call me, should I walk your dog or not? So they're having a phone call. Even though they're one house away, which is a semi-sextile or an inversion in ancient traditions, I think that mutual reception is important. So as she's talking to Mercury in the 11th house, and she's in the 12th house, she may be giving him some guidance about things to do with travel to foreign lands that could benefit your great gains in your career, things to do with educational opportunities that can benefit great gains in your career, or things to do with negotiations in the backroom deals that can help you in your career. And lastly, if she could just be ginning up some money for you, because Venus in your 12th house is a financial transit if you make money from foreign lands through payment processors and all of that. Stripe payment processors, if you can generate money online, basically. Or, you're not limited by a locale where you're making your money, or not limited to your own country. For some of you people who are like that, April 11th to May 7th is going to love you up even more with greater revenue in that way. Venus loves bed pleasures. And if you've been out of touch with your sexuality and your bed pleasures, this transit, April 11th to May 7th in the bed pleasures house, the hidden place of the 12th, may mean that you're going to have more fun in your sex life and you're going to love somebody up or they're going to love you up a little bit more than usual. We do have a trine from Pluto in the house of kink, sexual intimacy, tantra, sex magic, the 8th house. And so look for some really intense potential sexual juice coming through your sky if that interests you at all. I'm not saying you're going to meet someone at that point. If you do, it's a secret relationship for some reason. Maybe somebody's married or it's not good to go public with it. And that is all possible then in the early stages of the Venus transit through Gemini, which would be about April the 11th through to the 16th or so. It could be very financially lucrative April 11th to 16th because Pluto could bring you stock market gains or money from a tax insurance rebate thing or spousal shared resources. So also it could be a glow up financially just for you, Cancer, rising sun, moon, and all of that, especially a tax rebate or you paid too much taxes, insurance payouts. Stock market stuff, good for you in that window of time. Not maybe, I'm not saying invest something then, I'm saying you might have some kind of payout energy going on there, especially if the stock involves something from another country or a foreign stock exchange, alrighty? Then we're going to move on to the rest of the month and we're going to talk about April 7th to 10th. April 7th to 10th, Mercury will sextile Mars. At the same time, Venus is sextiling Neptune. These are flowing energies. Sextiles are lucky and opportunity and flow and ease and grace and goodness because they're the nature of Venus. A sextile is the nature of Venus herself. So Mercury sextiling Mars, Mercury and Taurus, yes, your house of good spirit with all those lucky windfalls and fairy godfathers and career gains. That's going to be a place of goodness for you as well until June 11th. Remember that. But while he is there, he's going to have a little smile for Mars in the house of your body and the house of your identity. He's going to sextile Mars. And that's April 7 to 10. That can look like something like an elder sibling benefiting you, a favor from somebody in power who's an ally or a benefactor, and you making decisions around that lucky break or favoritism that's coming your way around the 7th to the 10th, because Mars rules decisions already. At the same time, this is happening, Venus in Taurus, yes, back in your 11th house of good spirit, will be sextiling Neptune in your 9th house. This is foreign lands, foreign travel, patriarchal figures, third marriages, 9th house stuff. Book publishing luck up there as well. Oh my gosh, if you're into the book publishing thing and that's your cup of tea, this is quite nice to have Venus in Taurus at that point. She hasn't moved into Gemini on April 7th to 10th. She's going to be like at the very end of the sign of Taurus, and she's going to be sextiling Neptune at the end of the sign of Pisces. So this could be getting an agent, a friend from a favor, getting a book deal, getting a contract, getting something going on there. It's also really good for getting accepted into your dream university and maybe hearing good news from a friend that, you know, that they put a word in for you and it's going to work on your behalf. Yeah, nepotism always does work, doesn't it? Good news from an eldest sibling could come through this part of the sky connected to travel to foreign shores and lands, or legal and court matters can work out and you could be benefiting from good legal judgments on your behalf in your favor going your way around the 7th to 10th of April. Now, visas included, especially visas for foreign shores. April the 11th, that Jupiter love up in your 10th house, I've already talked about it. We're moving forward to a gnarly part of the sky, a tension between Venus and Saturn. Now, they actually like each other, so when they're having a disagreement, it ain't all that bad. But on the 14th and the 15th of the month, Venus, who's now moved on into the sign of Taurus, is going to be having into the sign of Gemini, your 12th house, is going to be having a disagreement with Saturn in your 9th. This is a foreign lands house, both 9 and 12. There could be some disagreement or tension regarding an opportunity to travel to a foreign land, plan a trip to a foreign land, or some glitches in court legal matters, or some glitches in book publishing, or some kind of Saturnian authority kind of squelching your Venus in the 12th. She was like, I'm going to have some bed pleasures. And Saturn is like, no, it's against our religious beliefs. Or she's going to like, I want to make more money from foreign shores and lands. And Saturn goes, you have to follow the rules. And there's a tax liability here, or there's a situation where you need to apply for something. It's kind of that way, you know. I mean, Saturn is just trying to make it work. And so he's also bringing common sense and restraint to what Venus would do. So, you know, honestly, you could just like pull back a little bit on some kind of frothy excitement around great gains. I mean, around foreign land money, trips, travel, bed pleasures, and that hidden sexual story that's going on. And he may just kind of go, wait a minute, where's your moral fiber? Because the ninth house is about your morals, your beliefs, your faith, and all of that. So he may be just like kind of like the moral sheriff is qualifying what Venus is up to in the 12th. Because Venus can also very much be secret deals and negotiations. And maybe Saturn's not approving of what you're up to or what someone's up to. Then on April the 23rd to the 27th, you're going to have a time frame in which two things are happening at once. Mercury is in a sextile to Mars. That's positive. And Venus is in a sextile to the Sun. Positive, positive on positive. Mercury is going to be in Taurus. Yes, we already talked about that. Your 11th house of fairy godfathers and good luck and good finances, and he's retrograde and he's sextiling Mars. Now, you know, the retrogradation may not be that big a deal, but it could be something coming back from your past, a friend from your past, an ally from your past, a situation from the past with a group of friends or belonging that's going to maybe help you make some forward momentum decisions in your life, especially if those decisions are about your career or about a romantic love story or about your children. And so that story is a little window of positivity. Well, at the same time, around the 23rd to the 27th, the sun will be in Taurus, sextiling Saturn. The sun sextiling Saturn. That's kind of like some leader, some powerful solar figure in your larger social groups and networks wants to bless you in a flowing way with a good legal guidance, advice, foreign travel opportunity, book publishing opportunity, you know, agent, publisher, stuff like that. Some kind of spiritual connection, like, hey, do you want to meet the Pope? I'm going to see him next week and you're welcome to tag along. Some kind of up level in your spiritual life. If you're studying anything in academics, you're a student, this is also very good for some positive academic uplift here, especially if it involved a group project or something like that, and you're a Cancer rising. So it's a small piece of yay sky between the 23rd and the 27th. Now, I'm not covering the eclipses or the moon cycles, the various moons. I do separate videos for all of that. You can just check out my channel for those eclipses and moon videos, because the reason is that I do individual videos for them. But I will touch on the fact that there is an eclipse conjunct Jupiter at 29 degrees of your 10th house of career, and it's going to be on the 20th of April, and it can unfold a 6-month story afterwards of some kind of change and new beginning in the way you do your career. With Jupiter conjunct, you could leave a teacher behind, or you could change jobs completely because there's a new opportunity coming, but there's maybe some hardship in the current way you're doing it because Jupiter is conjunct an eclipse. He's being eclipsed as well, right? And it would bring you more gain. At the end of the day, whatever this changes in your career space is going to up-level your career gain over the 6 months that follow, your finances from your career space or your active reputation space. What you're doing in the world will bring you greater financial gain over the 6 months that follow that eclipse. We'll be doing a whole video on that, so check it out. So again, don't forget, if you just found me on YouTube land and you want to help my channel grow, hit the like, subscribe button. It does make a difference. YouTube says, yeah, we like that. And don't forget to check out my description box. Some of you may want to take my course, my Sky Reader course, which starts in the middle of April, and it's going to be about being your own astrologer, timing your best life. I said all this in the beginning of the video. I'm not going to repeat myself. Oh, okay. Just check my description box below. I'm having one of those days where my hair won't do what I want. All right. Thanks, guys. I hope you have a wonderful April. I'm really looking at this month as a lighter month compared to March.